There was an amazing breakthrough recently. It was a shift in your consciousness. Some of you are probably more aware of it than others, but it was a shift in the consciousness that is the first real breakthrough in the and. In the and. We've talked about it for a while, the fact that you're a human and you're a master. But suddenly I observed this shift. It was almost like watching your energy field, your consciousness, your energy. It was almost, you could say, like an egg shape. And you've been in that egg shape for a long time. You've been feeling a lot of things, experiencing. I mean, your life is changing. Some ways it gets better, some ways a little bit more difficult. But suddenly, about 10 days ago, a radiance out of that old, hard, shelled egg shape into the and. Into the and. It wasn't just a few of you. It was a lot of you. And it's indicative of the fact that then it will come to the rest. Most of you probably weren't aware of it. You didn't wake up 9 days ago and say, oh, suddenly I'm in the end. But it was a perceivable shift. And I'm going to write it this way because it's difficult to put into words, but I'm going to say what I noticed was that you were becoming power-less, Linda, and energy-rich. Energy-rich. That's why I was asking earlier, what difference have you noticed in your life? How is your energy level? Your energy level has been, you've been consuming a lot of energy these last 4 years. You've been consuming a lot the last year in particular. It's affecting your body. Not as much your thoughts, but it's really been affecting the body, your overall vitality. But suddenly, with this shift occurring and getting out of the old consciousness of power and making that shift into the and, suddenly there's a new richness of energy. I'd like you to feel it for a moment here. Imagine again, here you are as the human, the mind, the five senses. And such a deep desire to move beyond those, but at times so difficult. Couldn't break through. You heard my words, you got frustrated with me because it wasn't happening in your life. You heard about the and, or we talked about abundance, or the master sense, but you're like, damn it, when's it gonna happen? And then I noticed it started to happen. Again, about 10 days ago. What this will mean, what this will lead to, is eventually being in a conscious state of and, not just thinking about it intellectually or philosophically, but really being in the conscious state of and. You are the human. It was never designed that we were going to perfect the human. It was never meant that the human was the one who ascended by their human self. It was never meant that we were going to create the ideal, perfect human. Never. The human is the human. The human has its biologies. It has its interesting ways of doing things. It was all about opening into the and, the master also. And that is actually what you've been doing. When that happens, there is a tremendous release of the need for power. You've been powering through most of your life. You still use power on a tremendous regular basis in your life, but you're suddenly realizing that it's not where you want to go. It's not going to get you what your real heart's desire is. So you've been actually releasing that. And as you are doing that, it opens the way for energy, rich, rich energy to come into your life. It's a landmark, it's a milestone, because in the past, if you had large amounts of energy, you would have used them in a power way. So you kind of stayed away from it intentionally. Kind of like, I'm not ready yet, so I'll stay away from it. But now you're comfortable and trusting enough in yourself. You're at a point where you're saying, this is all going to come together very soon. It's time to come into an energy-rich life. 4 years ago, you would have said, I might abuse or misuse that energy, and called it power. 4 years ago, you might have said, it's going to throw me out of balance to be energy-rich. But now it's changed, and that was the beautiful thing to observe. I had a whole different shout I was thinking about doing, but after that, it was like, now we can really, really walk on. I want you to feel for a moment into this whole expansion. Here's the human, as I say, like a egg shape almost, and fighting or working so hard for enlightenment, consciousness. And then suddenly, actually, when you give up the fight, when you stop trying so hard, suddenly it starts opening up, expanding. The egg is still there, that egg shape of energy is still there, but suddenly there's another layer. And it's not the human egg, it's what you would call the master, the divine. And that brings a richness of energy. Energy that isn't harsh. One of the reasons a lot of you stayed away from energy is because if you had a big issue in your life, the last thing you want to do is bring more energy into that issue. If you had an abundance problem, you bring energy into it, you're going to have a bigger abundance problem, or a bigger health problem, or a bigger relationship problem. So you avoided energy in an interesting way, because it was power energy. It was old energy. But you finally said, no more. I'm going to shift now. And you allowed it to happen. It's the and. That's the master. I am human, and I am the master. I am intelligent, and I'm kind of stupid too. I have a tremendous sense of humor, and I'm so serious. I am a light body, and I am a physical body. You might wonder why it took so long to get here. There were a lot of issues. There are a lot of things you were still holding on to, and you said, actually, we're not quite ready. Not quite ready. There's some other things happening on the planet, not quite ready. We want to time this just so beautifully. And now it's opening up. So now, let's stop talking about it and let's experience it in this thing that we call the Merab. We'll turn the audience lights down. Please get comfortable. Powerless and energy rich. During this Merab, I'd like you to really experience the richness of energy. Feel it in that physical body of yours. But I want you to notice one very, very important quality about it. It's not like the old energies that you've been used to, what I call force energy, harsh. Sometimes where you just wanted to, it's like you needed to tune it down. tone it down. These are different energies. It's rich in its grace. It's rich in its ease. It's not going to be hard on your body or your mind. So take a good deep breath and let's come into this Merab. This is our time of shifting consciousness, moving from one state to the other. I've talked a lot about the and Kihak starting the year before and going into this year. I've talked about it with Shambra. You get it intellectually. You understand it. It's not real hard. It's 3 letters, hard to even misspell. And, A-N-D. And you could feel into it, but there was resistance, I would say, or reluctance, perhaps. There's been so much focus on the human self, on you, on making you better. It's almost hard to imagine now going into and, just another you. But it's not. It's so beautiful to watch when you move from an intellectual, philosophical, spiritual concept, and then finally start experiencing it in your body and your reality. That's what happened about 10 days ago. There's you, the human, and there's this other master, I guess you could call it, free self, divine. And you didn't say, well, okay, if this master is here, I need to be rich, I need to be healthy. You didn't say that, because you realize that's oh so human. You didn't try to apply power to this and self. You didn't make it try to come in and fix the human. You just felt into it. And there's so much more to me. And why would I have to take this and make the human better? I'm now divine and human. There was a huge shift away from power. And when that happened, it opened the door for energy, new energy, the kind that we've been talking about for years, rich energy, simple energy. It doesn't carry the old attributes of duality or power. There's a richness to it, and it doesn't just come and go. You don't have to worry about losing it. You don't have to force it into your body to heal it or force it into abundance issues. It's richness in itself. Powerless and energy rich. Take a good deep breath. Oh my, what a fast year it's been. Bumpy at times. But it's like going out for like a joy ride. Going faster than you could imagine. What a thrill. A bit frightening, but we've come a long way in this 1 year. To the point now, even before we finish this Walk On series, we can talk about energy richness. I know a few of you out there are saying, who, me? You mean me? Yeah, I mean each and every one of you. Listen to the music for a moment and feel into this coming into the and. Not just the thinking of and, but the experience of it. Take a good deep breath as the music plays. Something shifted recently. That's the beginning of, I guess, a lot of more shifts, but the true realization of the and, the master, and the human. The walking away from the need for power in your life. And that brought in rich energy. How will it show up in your human life? We'll see over the course of the next month or year. But it'll definitely change when I ask the question that I asked today, how's your life different? In 4 years, if I asked that, or a year I asked that, you look back with amazement. Something really big shifted. Now the energy is just there and it's rich and not harsh. You don't have to fight with it. Now the single human, the linear human is now the and, the many. Something big shifted. And you did it through allowing. If there's anything that I'd like you to remember me for when my time comes to move on, if there's anything I'd like you to remember me for, it's 2 simple words: allowing and. Allowing. That's what you do. You allow your enlightenment. You allow yourself, you, the I am, We can't think our way through this. You can't get out of your mind from the mind. There's no tricks. There's no secret passageways. It's all about allowing what's natural in the first place. And then the and. The fact that it was never intended to be to enlighten the human. It was to realize the enlightenment of the master, and still being the human, and so much more. We haven't even begun to discuss that. But right now, let's take a good deep breath. There's nothing to work at here. Sometimes I talk about where we're going next, but today I'm talking about what I just saw happen. Powerless and energy rich. Can you feel it in your own self? Not the mental stress feeling, but can you just feel it within yourself for a moment as the music plays? There's been kind of almost energy starvation going on for a long time now, an energy richness. It's happening right now in the room. It's happening right now for those of you watching in. A natural shift out of power into energy richness in your life. It's happening because you're allowing it. It's happening because we're gathered here together. Not because of the words I'm saying, but simply because you're allowing it. I want you to really feel this energy richness now, between now and our next shout. Not thinking about it, but really feeling it. How it touches every part of you, the human, and every part of you, the master. It's there. You did it. You made that really historic shift. So let's take a good deep breath together here in Shroud 10. And as always, my dear friends, as always, remember that all is well in all of creation. Thank you.
Welcome home.